You're not lazy, never were, but there's a part of you, silent, invisible, that does everything to keep you motionless. It doesn't want you to win. It wants to protect you, even if that means destroying you slowly. What you call lack of discipline is, in truth, an internal war, and the enemy is your own mind. You see, everything you were taught about motivation is wrong. You don't need more willpower. You need less resistance. Your mind wasn't built to make you evolve. It was built to keep you safe. And for the brain, safe often means staying exactly where you are. Change feels like danger. When you try to stand up and act, a primitive part of your brain whispers, "Stay still, it's safer." That's not laziness, it's self-preservation. But in protecting you, the mind ends up trapping you. Neuroscience calls this the energy conservation bias. Once, it helped you survive. Now, it's a prison. The same instinct that once protected you now sabotages your growth. You open your phone. Pleasure, safety, comfort. You try to read or work or train, and suddenly, resistance. Your body feels heavy. Your thoughts scatter. That's not random. Your brain is triggering a defense system. Dopamine drops, distractions rise. You think you're procrastinating, but what you're really doing is escaping. An emotional escape disguised as rest. And the cruelest part is that it feels rational. You tell yourself you'll rest just 5 minutes. But that rest isn't rest. It's surrender. Every time you delay action, your mind wins another small battle. But awareness changes everything. Once you see the trap, you can walk out of it. That's where real discipline begins. You're not avoiding life because you don't care. You're avoiding it because you care too much. Every task feels heavier when it's tied to fear, doubt, or guilt. And deep down, you're tired of losing to yourself. You've spent years pretending everything is fine, smiling, showing up, surviving. But your nervous system knows. It's been running on alert for far too long. That's why rest doesn't feel like rest anymore. Even when you lie down, your mind keeps running. It replays everything you didn't do, every failure, every what if. You think you're broken because you can't stay consistent. But inconsistency isn't a flaw. It's a symptom of carrying too much for too long. Healing doesn't begin with pushing harder. It begins with understanding why you stopped. Your resistance isn't laziness, it's self-defense. You've built walls made of exhaustion and silence. But walls don't protect forever. They also keep the light from coming in. Sometimes healing looks like doing nothing, not out of avoidance, but acceptance. Because silence is where your strength starts to breathe again. The truth is, you're not lazy. You're exhausted from fighting battles no one sees. And that exhaustion deserves compassion, not shame. One day, you'll look back and realize the moment you stopped judging yourself was when you finally began to heal. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a rhythm. Slow, uneven, but still moving. Some days you'll climb, others you'll rest. Both are progress. You don't need to rebuild the entire version of yourself. You just need to nurture the parts that survived. They've been waiting for you to notice them again. Start small. One gentle choice at a time. The goal isn't perfection, it's permission. You've mistaken survival for weakness. But surviving is the strongest thing you've ever done. And it's proof you can do it again. But this time, consciously. Momentum doesn't return in a single day. It returns through kindness repeated, through showing up for yourself without the pressure to be perfect. Every small act of effort is a quiet rebellion against despair. Making your bed, drinking water, choosing to breathe before reacting. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. That's the difference between pain and wisdom. Some days, progress will look invisible. That's okay. Growth is often silent, like a seed pushing through the dark. So, breathe. You don't need to rush your return. You've already survived the hardest part, believing you couldn't. You didn't lose yourself. You just got buried under noise, expectations, fear, and fatigue. But the quiet version of you is still here. You don't need to chase motivation. You need to rebuild trust with yourself. Each promise you keep, no matter how small, restores that trust. Discipline isn't punishment. It's a form of self-love disguised as structure. A whisper that says, I care enough to show up for me. You'll notice something shift. The resistance will still appear, but quieter now, because your mind is learning. Discomfort no longer means danger. That's the secret of growth. The fear doesn't vanish. You just stop obeying it. You act anyway. And when you act, even without desire, your brain begins to understand this is safe. The cycle breaks. One day you'll look back and realize you never lacked discipline. You just needed to make peace with your own mind. That's where freedom begins. Not when you control your mind, but when you understand it. So, when laziness whispers again, don't fight it. Just smile and remember it's only your mind trying to keep you safe. But you are safe now.